Hello everyone, welcome all of you. So this is session number 15 in TestNG series, and in this we will see what are the different TestNG assertions and how we can use it in our automation. So in our automation, we automate lots of scenarios, right? From end-to-end scenarios, we automate using Selenium and TestNG, right? So at the end, we need to mark that test case. Okay, that particular test case is working fine or not, right? So depending upon the actual result and expected result, we need to mark that test case as passed or fail. So if my expected result is matching with the actual result, okay, then at the end I will mark that test case as passed. If both are not matching, then we will mark that TestNG test as fail. So our ultimate goal is not to just automate the scenarios, okay, just write the test cases, automate the test cases. We need to see whether our application is working fine or not, right? So for that purpose, we need to do the assertions on different pages in our applications. We can use the assertions in the TestNG. Okay, so what are the different types of TestNG assertions? So there are two types of the TestNG assertion. One is hard assertion and another one is soft assertion. So both the assertion types we can use in our automation framework. So with the help of example, we will see where we can use the hard assertion and where we can use the soft assertion. Okay, so first let's see what is the hard assertion and soft assertion. So let's say we have the sample test, okay, and it contains 10 lines of code. So let's say when you run this program at the line number 3, we got some exception, okay, at the line number 3. So in that case, in case of hard assertion, exception will be thrown immediately, okay. So that's why it is called as a hard assertion. So if exception occurs at any line, then the exception will be thrown immediately at that particular line. Okay, so in our example, if line number 3 got some exception, then the exception will be thrown immediately at the line number 3 and your execution will stop, right? So line number 4 to line number 10 statement will not be executed further. Okay, that's why we called it as a hard assertion. Your test case execution will stop immediately and program will stop there itself. So remaining statement from line number 4 to 10 will not be executed in case of hard assertion. So what is soft assertion now? So soft assertion is opposite to this hard assertion. Okay, so soft assertion is anyhow going to give you the exception, okay, but it will not throw the exception immediately. Okay, unlike the hard assertion, it will not throw the exception immediately. Only TestNG will have the knowledge that it has found some exception at line number 3 and it will store that exception. So even though we got some exception at the line number 3, and if I use the soft assertion, then in that case execution continues after line number 3 up to the last line 10. Okay, so all the statement will be executed one after another even though we got some exception. Okay, so in that case, if we get one more exception, let's say at line number 7 also I got some exception. So again, TestNG will store that exception as well. Okay, whatever information it has about that exception, it will be stored, right? So at the end, we know what exception occurs and what line number and what exactly it is. Then at the end, we can collect all the exception details at the end of the test and we can print it. Okay, so that is the difference between hard assertion and soft assertion. So hard assertion execution will start immediately after the exception occur, and in case of soft assertion, execution will continue up to the end of your program. Okay, so all the exception details you can get at the end of the test by using one method. Okay, that we will see. So now let's see where we can use the hard assertion and soft assertion in our test automation. So let's say we have one banking application. So we automated this whole scenario. So first we will log in into the application, then we have created a loan for the customer, then we will do some assertion of the preview loan page. Okay, whatever information you have filled on the create loan page, that will be available on the preview loan page, and once that is correct, then we will click on the save button. Okay, then we will do the assertion of the PDF generated, right? We will get some PDF, we will export some details into the PDF, and that also we can assert with the actual details that we have entered. Okay, and then we will log out. So this is the simple scenario. So whatever information you have filled while creating the loan, that will be asserted on the two page. One is preview loan page, another one is PDF. Okay, so when I created the loan, I am doing some assertion at the end. Okay, assertion of the loan reference number, or we can say the success message. Okay, so when loan is successfully created, you will get some success message on the UI that I can assert, or I will get some reference number also with the message. So these two things we can verify or assert at the end of create loan. Okay, so for that purpose, let's say I have used the hard assertion, okay, to assert this loan number, loan reference number or success message. Okay, so why I can use the hard assertion, or why I should use the hard assertion here? Because the assertion of the preview loan page or PDF generated information will be completely depend upon the create loan step. Okay, if I am able to create the loan successfully, then only I can perform the assertion of the preview loan or PDF generated I can compare. Whereas due to some issue I am not able to create the loan, okay, in the automation that step failed. That means we did not get any loan reference number, or we did not get any success message. That means there is some issue due to which we are unable to create the loan. So there is no meaning of performing the assertion of the preview loan page or PDF generated. Okay, it is anyhow going to fail. Okay, so that will only take your execution time only. It is going to fail at the end. So why to perform this assertion unnecessary when your create loan step got failed? So hard assertion are very useful in this kind of scenarios where your one assertion is depend upon one or more other assertions. Okay, so these two assertions are completely depend upon the create loan assertion. Whether create loan or loan is generated or not, depending upon that I can perform the further assertions. Okay, so in that case you can use the hard assertion. So as we have used the hard assertion, when assertion fail for the create loan, then the assertions or the other statement after the create loan, okay, all these assertion will not be performed. Your exception will thrown immediately and test case execution will stop at that point only. So now where we can use the soft assertions. So let's look at this scenario. I log in into the application, and after the login I am performing different assertions of the different elements available on that page. Okay, so first I will assert the title of the page, then I will assert the logo, then whatever available fields are there on the web page that I will assert, whatever buttons or whatever links are available on that particular page that I will assert, and then I will simply log out. Okay, so you can see here all these assertions are not depend upon each other. Okay, so if let's say our logo test failed, okay, so let's say there is some exception occur at the logo is different or logo is not present, something like that. So I will create a Jira for that. But what I want, all the other steps or all the other assertions should get executed. Okay, our execution should not stop at this assert logo step. Okay, if any exception occur. So if I use the hard assertion for asserting the logo, then if logo is different or logo is not present, then my execution will stop here only. Okay, and our Selenium will not perform the other assertion available after this step. Okay, so that is not good for me. So in our previous example, the preview loan assertion or PDF generated assertion are completely depend upon the assertion of the create loan. Okay, when loan is successfully created, then only I have to do the assertion for the preview page or PDF. If I use soft assertion for this scenario, then the assertion of the preview loan page or PDF generated will happen, but there is no meaning of doing that assertion because your create loan step failed. Okay, so anyhow you will get some exception and you will get the failed result at the end. Okay, so it will only increase your execution time. Okay, so better to use the hard assertion for this scenario, right? And if you use the hard assertion for this kind of scenario where you are asserting different links, different fields, okay, which are not depend upon each other. Okay, so all these assertion are completely independent upon each other. So if any exception occur at particular assertion, then our execution should not stop. It should continue and it should perform all the assertions I have given in that particular test. So due to some issue, let's say my title is wrong, then it should not stop the execution. It should go and check the logo. Okay, again we got some exception at the logo, that logo is not present or logo is wrong. Okay, doesn't matter, I will create the Jira for this also. Again perform the next assertion. Okay, again it should go and check all the fields available on that web page, check all the buttons available on that web page. Okay, if get some exception at these points, okay, doesn't matter, I will create a Jira, and again it should go and perform all the assertion for all the links, okay, that are available at the footer, at the top. So this kind of assertion where they are not depend upon each other, we should use the soft assertion only, and at the end we can print all the exception details, okay, by using one method from the TestNG. So what are the different methods that we can use for the assertions? So assertEqual, assertNotEquals, assertTrue, assertFalse, assertNull, and assertNotNull. Okay, so these are some methods available in TestNG that we can use for the assertions. Okay, so as name suggests, assertEqual is simply going to compare two objects. Okay, that can be your boolean or that can be your array also, or string values. So two values it will going to compare. One is expected, one is actual. So let's say this is my actual value. I will compare with the expected. Okay, so if both are matching, then only the assertion will pass. If not, then it will fail. and at the end I can print some statement also in case of assertion fail. Okay, so whatever message, whatever statement I want to show in my console whenever exception fail, then that I can give at this third place. Now assert not equal. So this method is going to compare expected and actual. If both are not equal, then only this assertion is going to pass. Okay, so it is opposite to the assert equal. So in case of assert true, it is going to check the condition. If condition is true, then only this assertion will pass. If it is false, then this assertion is going to fail. Okay, opposite to the assert true, this assert false is going to check the condition. If it is false, then only this assertion will pass. Okay, otherwise it will fail. Similarly, we have assert null and assert not null. So if condition, whatever we are checking, if that object is null, then the condition or this assertion will pass. If object is not null, okay, value for that object is not null, then assertion for this step will pass. So in case of this methods also, we can give some message, okay, some custom message in case of assertion failure that we can show in the console. And all these methods comes from the assert class. Okay, so this is the class where we have all these methods, okay, defined. So all these methods are static ones, so we can directly use the class name assert dot. All these methods will be available to use, okay, after the dot. Okay, so no need to create the object for the assert class in case of hard assertion, and in case of soft assertion we need to create the object of the soft assert class. Okay, so let's see the practical example. So on this Google homepage, let's try to assert the title of the Google. Okay, let's try to assert this logo also, and let's say this text. So after opening the Google homepage, I'm going to get the three values. One is the title of the page by using the get title method. Then for the logo, I am using the .find element, and I have given the XPath for that logo, and we are using this is displayed method. Okay, so if it is available, then this method will return the true. Otherwise, it will return the false. Okay, so that I will store in the boolean is logo present variable. And another one is we need to assert the text. Okay, so that we can get from the UI by using .find element by given the XPath using the get attribute and value of the attribute. So first let's use the hard assertion here. Okay, so for title I will use this method assertEqual. Okay, so my actual is this title variable value, right, and my expected is this is the string value, that is Google. Okay, similarly for the logo I can use the assert.assertEqual, or I can directly use the assert.assertTrue as well. So here I will use the assert.assertTrue. So if is logo present, and in case of failure I can give some message here. Okay, something like that you can give. Okay, that will be shown in the console when this assertion fails. And at the end we will close the browser. So let's run this. Okay, so test case has completed, and we'll see whether we got some exception or not. Okay, so everything is working fine. We did not get any exception at any assertion point. Okay, so we have asserted the title of the Google homepage, then logo and the text available on the UI. Okay, so all are correct. That's why our browser got closed. Okay, that means this last statement in our test case got executed. Okay, so let's say we have used the hard assertion, and I will intentionally going to fail this step. Okay, so let's say my expected is goal 1 2 3. Okay, so now in case of hard assertion we have seen that if this assertion fails, then other statement in our test case will not get executed. Okay, so our browser will still remain open, and this assertion will not be performed. Okay, so browser did not close, and our test case has completed, and you can check the assertion error now. Okay, so assertion error expected is Google 1 2 3 but found Google. Okay, so this title is correct as per the Google, but I have intentionally failed this step. So due to that, as we have used the hard assertion here, all the statement after this assertion did not get executed. Okay, so that's why our browser is also still open. So in case of failures, I can show some custom message also for the user. Okay, title is not matching. So let me run this again. So that statement will be displayed first. Title is not matching. Okay, expected is Google 123 and found Google. So in your test case, at what line number your assertion failed, that also you can get from here. Okay, this is the line number. So that's why we should not use the hard assertion for this kind of scenarios, because our logo and our text is not depend upon the title test. Okay, if title is wrong, okay, we can create the Jira and assign to the developer, but we should get all this statement, all this assertion should be executed in our test case. Okay, irrespective of the result of this assertion. Okay, so we need to convert this hard assertion into the soft assertion now. So how we can do that? First we need to create the object of the soft assert class. So just create the object of soft assert class equals to new. Okay, so by using this object reference we can call the same methods now. Okay, so in place of hard assert we are using the soft assert now. Okay, SA dot assert equal. Similarly here also I will use the SA, and here also SA. Okay, so as we have used the soft asserts, even though we got some exception at this line number 73, okay, so that exception will be recorded by the TestNG, but exception will not thrown immediately. Okay, it will just record the exception and all other statement will be executed. Okay, so let's see now. Okay, so our browser got closed. Okay, and here you can see our test got executed and is passed, but it should have failed because we have intentionally failed this Google title assertion. Okay, so this title is wrong for the Google, right? So why it is happening? Because we have not just TestNG has collected the result of the exception, but it did not thrown the exception. So if you want that TestNG should display all the exception details, then you need to use one method from the TestNG. If you do not use that method, okay, it will only record the exception failures. Okay, but it will not throw any exception. And as we did not get any exception, our test got executed and marked as passed. Okay, it should have failed, right? So at the end, what you have to do is here you need to print or get the or throw the exception details to mark test as fail. So if there is at least one failure or one exception in your test case, then that will be recorded and that will be thrown at the end of your test case. So use the object reference of the soft assert class SA dot, and you need to use this assert dot assert all. Okay, so this is the method that we need to use to collect all the recorded failures or all recorded assertion by the TestNG at the end of your test case. Okay, so this statement simply throw the exception, okay, and our test case will be marked as a fail. Okay, so this statement I should actually give at the end after closing the browser. So let's rerun this. So this time it should not mark our test case as passed. We should get some exception that should be shown in the console. Okay, so now we can see we got some failures. So java.lang.assertion error, the following assert failed. So title is not matching, expected is Google 123 but found Google. Okay, so whatever exceptions occur in your test case, all those assertion will be recorded by the TestNG in case of soft assertion. And by using this method assert or, we can print all those assertions, we can throw all those exception, at the end of your test case. Okay, so all the details will be available in the console as well. Okay, so we got only one assertion here. Let's try to assert, or let's try to fail other assert also. So I will give some other value here. So in this case we should get the 2 assertion error. So all the statement from our test case got executed, and here you will find the details. So following assert failed. So one is title not matching and another one is Google search, okay, for the text. So it is always recommended that you should give some message here in case of assertion failures, okay, because here you will not be able to understand what exactly you are comparing. Okay, so if anyone who is reading your automation result, okay, you will get the TestNG report also. So looking at the TestNG report, anyone will not understand what exactly you are comparing at this particular assertion. Okay, so from this line you can understand that you are checking the title, but from this assertion error I am not able to understand what exactly the user was comparing at this particular assertion step. Okay, so it is always good practice, and it's very useful that you should give some custom message here in case of assertion failure, and the same message will be shown in your TestNG automation report also. Okay, so anyone who is reading that automation report will able to understand that you are checking some logo here and that did not match, or you are checking some Google search text on the Google home page that did not match. Okay, something like that. So writing this kind of information message in case of assertion failures are very important. So that's all for this session, guys. This TestNG assertion concept is very important that you can use in your real-time projects, and in case of automation interviews also there can be 2 to 3 questions definitely asked on this concept. Okay, so prepare it well, and let me know if you don't understand anything from this. Thank you.